G'day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan Metal video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the INT Goku Black and how he does in the Fusion Zamasu Red Zone. So just to kind of discuss this guy a little bit, the Fusion Zamasu Red Zone is quite a tough challenge for this unit. And you're actually better off bringing a team that doesn't eat into the INT phase so strongly. So if you really want to use this guy, bringing double physical trunks is just not it, because double physical trunks absolutely shreds Zamasu and doesn't even really give a lot of units time to build up, but it especially doesn't give Goku Black time to build up. Now Goku Black, there's two things that kind of give him issues. So the first thing is the AoE attacks. Now for a lot of teams, you're probably going to use an item to start off with to set up your team, set up your rotations, minimize damage, etc. He's fine. Honestly, first turn with an item, yes, supers hurts him, but generally speaking, he's actually quite fine. You're going to see he doesn't take a ridiculous amount of damage with an item active. Obviously, without an item active, he does take a fair chunk of damage, but a lot of units do, so it's not really a big issue. The big thing is the chip damage gives a lot of issues. So not only is chip damage obviously going to get you low, but what it also does is it brings your health down below the threshold, and his threshold for transformation is quite important for him. It's not like it improves him hugely defensively. I mean, it does help quite substantially. It's not like it doubles his defense or something, but it does help. But the big thing that it does is two things. One, it gives him the chance of an additional super attack outside of the super class condition, which is very important for stacking. And two, it gives him the crit chance, which he needs to score any damage. You know, the big thing with Goku Black that you're bringing him for is his damage. So, you know, out of anything he does damage quite well. The big thing is, if you can't damage, then he's not nearly as exciting a unit to use. And so things like having the AoE damage kind of bring you below the chip threshold for his transformation is a bit irritating, I would say. Like it's probably the biggest hindrance to using him in this event. I think you could get lucky and get multiple supers with him. You could have them miss attacks, but the thing is the AoE, for the most part, unless your team is all rainbowed and you're probably using an item, the chances of you going into the stage with less than 60% health is quite high. So I think what tends to happen there is then you end up in the situation where he doesn't transform, he doesn't do damage, and then he's just kind of trying to stack defense, but he's not got that additional super, and he's just not in a very solid position. Like it's not the same for Goku Black. You know, it doesn't work if you don't have everything relatively set up to kind of function well for him. So there's a bit of a hindrance, but it is also it is what it is, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, overall I would say, honestly speaking, I'm very happy with his performance in a lot of events, but this event is not for him. I just don't think it constitutes quite well. Could be different on a Tex Master team. There's a lot more healing there. There's kind of a good presence if you're running double Tex Mastery, the ability to reduce damage. There's some more mechanics there that could make him more viable. 100%. I agree with that, but I doubt he's, depending on your RNG. I mean, RNG can save any run, but barring significantly crazy RNG, this guy's not going to be a big contributor in the way of damage. He could be a good contributor, if you have a bit more time. So like I say, if you're not shredding through the Zamasu phase, you're letting him kind of build up some stacks, he could have a bit of a better time, but he's got to survive the physical phase, and that's always going to be rough on him. He's always going to take significant damage for the most part, just due to the rate you do damage. the rate you stack up, etc. It's not so cut and dry, it's not so easy to evaluate. So I would say Goku Black, not maybe necessarily a top choice for this event. There are other red zones that suit him better. Red Zone Broly, for example, suits him better. Syn Shenron suits him better. The Shadow Dragons one suits him better. Anything where it's just got a bit of a weaker start, a bit more of a gradual follow through, tends to be quite strong for him. So yeah, if I can say anything, I would say keep an eye out on using him in those red zones. He is capable of doing plenty red zones. This is just the absolute worst red zone for him. So it is something that's important to take note of, but I think overall for me, personally speaking, I think he's maybe not a top tier pick for this, specifically this one. However, I do think he's still a solid option for plenty of other red zone stages. I just think, when you, like I say, sometimes when I do these reviews, you like to put a unit in their ideal situation, and then other times you also like to take a look at a unit in a not so ideal situation. And it's good to see Goku Black in a situation where things just aren't working in his favor. It's good to see that. I think sometimes people push the narrative and use those kind of situations a bit more than they would for other units. But for me, there's enough here to see that this isn't an event that's catered for him. It's not an event that he really enjoys. It's not an event that suits him. So yeah, definitely I would say keep an eye out on that. But yeah, overall I would still say he's a pretty solid unit, and he can be used for plenty other red zones. So I don't really have anything major or pressingly bad to say about him. I think you could make him work here. You'd need a bit of RNG. You're going to need him to be above that 60% threshold, and you're going to need him to proc some additional supers. In his base and in his transform state, you're going to need a bit of luck with those additionals. There is the chance to make him work here though. It's not impossible for him to be on a team that beats this event at the end of the day. It's not something that's improbable. It's just something that's quite difficult. Like you can see, transforming him is a bit of an issue. I think I ran this 3 or 4 times, and transforming him didn't happen once, which is, that's, for me, that's the biggest issue, because, defensively, he's always going to stack. He's a defensive stacker. People don't like it. It is what it is. But his transform state offensively brings a lot to the table. The crit chance, the additional super attack, and especially when the second phase of the fight is physical, they bring in INT unit, you need them to do something. And Goku Black in his his Rose form can do something. It's just that he doesn't, unfortunately, do enough. So, it is what it is. I think overall he's a pretty solid unit. I did enjoy using him. I do think he can do the event. I just think it's very difficult for him, because a lot of it's going to fall down to your healing or your timing of heals. But that is pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know your thoughts on Goku Black, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So until then, take care, stay safe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.